Hey guys, this is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com, and we're back with another episode of Recruit of the Week. Before we dive into this week's prospect, I want to invite you guys to subscribe to the Wolverine.com today for just $10. That gets you premium insight information on all things Michigan recruiting, the team, basketball recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, and so much more, as well as a great message board community over on the fort for just $10 until next football season. That's $10 until August of 2023. If you're already a subscriber, you can always gift a subscription. If you forgot to get someone a Christmas gift, if you want to get someone a little New Year's surprise, you can definitely sign up for the Wolverine.com today and gift that subscription. All right, guys, today's recruit of the week, or this week's recruit of the week, is Cameron Brandt, consensus 4-star defensive lineman out of Sierra Canyon in California. Brandt is a 2023 recruit, so yes, National Signing Day was last week, and several 2023 prospects signed on the dotted line during the early period, but there are still a few players out there. Several schools are evaluating potential late additions, including Michigan. Michigan has a couple spots remaining, and Brandt is one of the top targets on the board, along with Nicholas Harbaugh, 5-star athlete, and 3-star defensive lineman Jamel Howard. So Brandt's an interesting prospect in the sense that Michigan offered him early and there wasn't a lot of movement there. However, as of late, Michigan has been making a run here. Contact picked up in the winter as we got closer to signing day, with Brandt being committed to Stanford, which suffered a coaching change with David Shaw resigning. That has opened the door for Michigan and others to get back involved with Brandt. So even though Michigan was able to secure a signature from Roderick Trey Pierce out of Chicago at the 3 technique, the Wolverines still want another defensive lineman, and Cameron Brandt fits the mold of what Michigan has been looking for. If you guys remember and have listened to previous podcasts, you know that I said a big priority for new defensive line coach Mike Elston this cycle was getting longer up front. He wanted to recruit guys at the 3 tech that had really long arms. And so you have that in Brooks Barr, who's 6'6", 275 pounds, great length there. Trey Pierce is on the shorter side at about 6'3", 290 pounds, but his length is better than his height, if that makes sense. He has a bigger wingspan than you would think his height would have. So Cameron Brandt, 6'4", 260, really has really good length. At least that's what I'm able to see on film. When you look at his junior season highlights, I have not been able to find his senior season highlights. When you look at his junior season highlights, there are a few things that really stand out. And one is the arm length, or again, what it appears like on film. I haven't had a chance to see him in person, but just on film, you can see him use that length to his advantage. He gets a lot of interior pressure from the 3 spot, plays a little bit of a 1, plays some 4-eye as well, but mostly a lot of 3 tech. But you can see on his clips that he uses his arms really well, swims over guys, gets a lot of interior pressure on the quarterback, comes up with several sacks, several quarterback pressures. When you go deeper into his huddle clips, I think his junior reel is about 10 minutes long. You see him play against some teams that have some really wide splits. It gives him one-on-one advantages against guards, and he just completely demolishes them with his athleticism and his length. So that's the thing about Brandt is I think he's still kind of raw. You see that on tape. He's not a complete product at all, but the athleticism, the length, the feet are there for a guy that size. And it's those wide split clips, I think, really showcase a lot of his potential. And then if you also go further into his huddle clips, you see him playing the run. And he does a really good job of, again, using his length to split double teams and coming up with stops in the backfield, stops right at the line of scrimmage. So he has a really good frame as well. Like I said, 6'4", 260, but on tape you can kind of see that it's a little bit of a thinner 260. He has room to add about 30, 40 pounds. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays at 300. And when you see the length, when you see the athleticism, you see the quickness for his size, along with the ability to add a lot of weight and be coached by a guy that's a great teacher in Mike Elston, you see why Michigan really values him late. He could be in the same mold as a guy like Chris Jenkins, who had to gain quite a bit of weight, but you could see the potential and the upside. So that's the guy that probably came to mind first from a Michigan angle when I watched Cameron Brandt's tape. Right now, Brandt is ranked as the number 390 overall prospect nationally on the On3 consensus and the number 47 defensive lineman. The recruiting sites are pretty aligned on this one. He's a low 4-star on 24/7, a low 4-star on ESPN, a high 3-star on On3, and a high 3-star on Rivals. And that's literally the same consensus I have as well. I'd probably rank him as a high 3-star, low 4-star as well. So right in the exact same area. You kind of know what you're getting in Cameron Brandt. So can Michigan flip him from the Cardinal? Obviously, he committed to Stanford for a reason. He's a high academic kid that really values what Michigan can offer on the field and in the classroom. You know, when you look at Stanford, obviously it's one of the best schools academically across the country, but the football does leave a lot to be desired, especially recently. And now with the departure of David Shaw, that's kind of in a little bit of a rebuild mode. So it's no surprise that he's taken a likening to a place like Michigan that can offer the best of both worlds. So I think Michigan is right up there in his recruitment right now. But I think distance is going to play a little bit of a role, distance climate, which, you know, can affect guys from further away from good weather. But Cameron Brandt is, again, a prospect that really does value what that Michigan degree can do for him. So I do think you'll see him take an official visit in January, and we'll see if Mike Elston and Jesse Minter and company can create some more movement in that recruitment. Right now, I think things are just kind of getting off the ground. Like I said earlier in the podcast, Michigan offered him in the offseason. There wasn't a lot of contact until, you know, late into the fall, early into the winter, when things kind of started to head south with Stanford's coaching situation. But yeah, I think Stanford's still going to be a factor here. And I think, you know, some other schools closer to home are also going to be factors. Cal is one to watch closely. Obviously, it's an in-state program with superior academics. UCLA is another one to watch closely, another in-state school with terrific academics. Washington is recruiting him hard, and Texas recently offered, which is a pretty good academic school as well on the western side of the United States. So, yeah, I think that, you know, the schools closer to home, the Pac-12 schools, and Texas have a geographical advantage. But I think when you look at the complete package of elite academics and football, Michigan is the best of those options. But again, we'll see. Michigan is looking to get an official visit in January. We'll see if that comes into fruition. But Brandt is definitely a top 2023 target to know during the late period as we gear up for February's signing day. So for all things Michigan recruiting, again, subscribe to thewolverine.com today for just $10. And like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's completely free, and you'll get updates every time we drop a new video.